All right, guys, doing my final what's next today. It is on former unified middleweight champion, now once again the IBF middleweight champion of the world, Triple G Gennady Golovkin. That's 160 pounds middleweight. Triple G main evented an October 5th card on DAZN, where he scored a hard-fought 12-round split decision over Sergey Derevyanchenko to capture the vacant IBF middleweight championship. This is a fight that a lot of people thought Triple G was going to win in a landslide. I thought he was going to win this fight believable. I thought it could be a dog fight, but I didn't think it was going to be this much of one. And yeah, Derevyanchenko just came to brawl, man. It was a good-ass fight. He really took it to Triple G. I'm not sure. It did look like, I mean, a lot of people want to say Triple G looks old. I don't know. I think there's a lot to the fact that Triple G came in a little soft around the belly, something he never does. And I think, I think there's a little to what people are saying, that he had a flu or was sick that week. So, I mean, that kind of stuff happens, and fighters still fight. So Triple G got the win. It was a hard-fought win. It was very close, and is once again the world champion. So the big question now, what's next for Triple G? Well, obviously the most popular one, we'll run through the top 10, and we'll start with the most popular option, and that's a trilogy with Canelo. Well, Canelo, we know November 2nd is moving up to light heavyweight, going for a championship in a third different weight class. I don't think anybody's really believing that Canelo's going to be staying at light heavyweight after he wins or loses to Sergey Kovalev for the light heavyweight title. I think it's more of an accomplishment feat for him. I do believe his biggest fights are to be made at 160, but he's also got some options at 168, but he's not that big of a fighter at 168 either. So I really think 160 is his best suited weight. I think a chance of a fight in May is a real possibility, especially if it's to unify belts. I think he'd be into that. Plus, I think, Triple G, I think it'd be more believable that Canelo could beat Triple G a lot more believable now. If he's looking bad against the likes of guys like Derevyanchenko, but Derevyanchenko's not a pushover. So Canelo, I do believe that I think this is more likely his next best possibility. But I don't think Canelo should be. I don't think it's locked down. I don't think Canelo should also be overlooking Triple G if they fight. But we'll talk about that later on. But yeah, I do think the Canelo fight's very believable. Triple G's number 2 is a rematch with Danny Jacobs. Don't see this one. I think Danny would take the rematch and stay at 160 for this fight, but it looks like Danny has his next fight wrapped up for the end of December, or for December, possibly against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We'll see. But yeah, I think Danny's pretty solid on moving up to 168, so I don't see this fight happening. Number 4, Jamal Charlo. I mean, I guess it's still a possibility, but Charlo's going to face Dennis Hogan next in December. After that, you never know. They are 2 world champions. I think Charlo would be way on board to come over to DAZN and face Triple G if Triple G wanted, but I'm not sure this is the fight Triple G wants. I think he wants the Canelo fight more, so I think he stays away from it. Number 5, undefeated WBO champion Demetrius Andrade. I just think this is a fight that doesn't make a lot of sense for Triple G right now. Andrade's not that big of a name, and he does bring a world title to the table, but I just think there's other bigger fights like the Canelo fight that he would like to go after first, so I don't see it. Number 6, WBA regular champion Ryota Murata. I think this fight is a possibility because it's a fight he wanted before. I think it's a fight that could happen next. Murata's supposed to be fighting, I forget who, in December, but it's not somebody that's supposed to beat him. And I think after that, I think Triple G would be open to possibly this fight if the Canelo fight didn't happen. Number 7, Derevyanchenko. Yeah, I mean, a rematch is definitely a possibility. Does Triple G really want it? I think pride issues would force Triple G into a rematch with him. Plus, I think if Triple G truly was sick and he wanted to prove he really is a better man and he can't get the Canelo rematch, then I think Derevyanchenko is the kind of fight for him, and I think he'd go for it. Number 8 is Rob Brandt of the United States. If Triple G was just trying to stay busy and he really didn't have any other options, then I think Rob Brandt, but I think he'd cash in on some bigger name options before a Rob Brandt, before he'd take a Rob Brandt fight. Number 9, Matt Korobov. I wouldn't completely look past this fight, but I think he'd look at Korobov almost as a dangerous type opponent like Derevyanchenko, and I think he'd stay away from it if he had bigger options, which Triple G always has bigger options. And then number 10 is Maciej Sulecki. This fight doesn't make any sense. Again, it's one of those fights that's high risk, low reward because Sulecki's coming off that loss to Andre, so Triple G doesn't have any reason to fight Sulecki, but I could see him doing it, if he was desperate, but Triple G's not desperate, so this fight, to me, isn't going to happen. So I think Canelo's really the hot possibility. I think a rematch with Derevyanchenko is probably the more likely second. And then I can see like a fight with Ryota Murata coming around possibly third. So, Triple G, hard fought, good fighter, and he's a world champion again. So make sure you're paying attention. That's the What's Next on Triple G, the IBF Middleweight Champion. True Boxing. Been hit with the truth.